Hello, welcome back to Akos Musings. How are you? It's been a while. I'm so grateful for engagement as usual. If this is your first one passing through, thank you so much. Please hit the subscribe button if this message speaks to you. And press the bell icon close to it for all video notifications. Alright. So this morning I want us to talk about something. And I've been thinking about it. And I want us to share it. I'm going to give you some real life situations. And then afterwards we'll discuss the issue. So there's this lady whose father was terminally ill. They needed money to facilitate a surgery that could save his life. And this lady had no money. The mother was broke, father broke, siblings broke, cousins just say bro. And she decided to go and see an uncle. And this uncle had the money to give her, but he wanted to first of all sleep with her before giving her the money. And this girl, it was everything against her moral codes. Everything. Like she wasn't ready to sell herself for money. But the situation was so dire, she had no option. Or so she thought. And so after deliberating over the case for days, and also the deteriorating state of her father's sickness, the urgency to perform the surgery, against everything she believed, against her morality, she decided to go ahead and sleep with the guy for the money. And after she had slept with the guy for the money, with the money she came to the hospital to save her father's life, only to come and meet the corpse of her father. The father had passed on during the night, and so she had the money, but the money couldn't save her. Another scenario. This gentleman was having a tough time in his life. He needed money, naturally. The money wasn't coming. Life was difficult. Even to feed was a problem. He could not sustain himself for even a day. He couldn't afford 3 square meals a day for himself, for his family, and for even a friend who needed it. And so this guy was desperate. And against all his better judgments, against all that he could do, all the alternatives available unto him, he decided to go for blood money. When he went, he was told after all the sacrifices he would make, blood sacrifices he would make to attain all the money, he would be given just 3 years to spend every money he had. And because of desperation, the gentleman agreed to it. He did all the sacrifices necessary towards bringing the money, and he had money. In the 3rd year, he realized for real that he was going to die. Because of the dreams he was having, the visions he was having, the torture. He was desperate, he was afraid. He didn't want to die. Now he didn't even care about the money anymore. He went about from one man of God to the other, looking for life. Another scenario. A Christian woman was married. For years, she couldn't have a child. And they would use her barrenness or seeming barrenness, that state, to mock her. And so a friend of hers advised her to go see a certain man who would be able to give her a child. And of course, she went because she was desperate. And the man gave her a child. After the child was born, she had known no peace. The birth of that child has brought her a lot of sorrow. My sister, my brother, there are times in this life where we are besotted with difficult moments, tough times. You may be going through a tough time right now as you're listening to me. You may be facing your giants at this time. And it looks as if there's no way out. What happened? Nothing seems to be working. I want you to know it's a phase of your life. It's a season of your life. I choose to call them tribulations. And in these tribulations, let me tell you 3 things that come to play: perseverance, character, and hope. These tribulations bring out these features, these characteristics. When you are going through the tough times, know that it will end. It can't remain like that forever. But in the process, we see how you can hold on to the end, knowing that your character is also tested, how you behave under pressure. And then hope, knowing that in all these 3 instances, they all failed at recognizing these 3 characteristics. None of them was prepared to persevere because it looked as if a situation would swallow them up. It looked as if no good would come out of the situation. It looked as if it would never be better. And so they were forced by their own decisions into corners that were even tighter than the situations themselves. My sister, my brother, I bet darling, it will change, but persevere it. Let those situations build your character. For instance, This girl, her character was tested to the point where she threw away her morality just to get money. And kwan nisikam, I mean a crown kwan. Tinipa no be wobi. But then your character is tested. This woman who was a Christian, Nyamine Maba, that every good and perfect gift comes from God. Father of light, with whom there is no shifting. On the son of him, not tear. When God gives you a gift, it's perfect. Mom, your character, your perseverance, your patience is tested. James chapter 1 verse 2 to 8, it tells of how tribulations builds your patience. If you only have patience, knowing that these things will turn around, they will change, our characters will build. And when the pressures come, your character will be tested. There is hope, my sister. There is hope for you. Wait, be patient. Go through the mill, go through the fire, go through the tribulations, being persevering, being hopeful, and know that your character is being built. Somebody is looking at you. I know of this church leader who killed himself because the pressures were too much for him. He literally killed himself. Where is your hope? Hope does not disappoint. God won't disappoint you, my brother. And if you endure to the end, you will receive a crown. To shock you to realize that even in your tough time, God is there. David said in Psalm 23, it says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It didn't say, though I stand aloof on the fence and watch into the valley of the shadow of death. It says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod and your staff comfort me. That is where perseverance is built, character is built, hope is built. In the shadow of death, he was hopeful. God didn't tell him, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fear no evil, for my rod and my staff will comfort you. No. David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod and your staff will comfort me. He was hopeful. That, you see, you see the character of David at that time. He was not going to give up because he knew that the rod and the staff of God would comfort him. And of course it will. In times when it looks as if say worry, waka, know that the rod and the staff of the Lord will comfort you. He's with you, and eventually you come out of it. Do not frolic in the mud. Don't attach filth to yourself in your process because you think say wait up him on pim and also be trim say adani. And in the tough time, don't lose your morality, don't lose your character, don't lose your hope. Persevere, go through it, and be hopeful. A living dog is better than a dead lion. Once you are alive, things will change. I know people whose situations have changed. See, they don't even know how it changed because they persevered, they were hopeful. Situations changed, and they have testimonies. Their characters are built. You know that this one is an organic person. They've been through the mill. They have something to say of their testimonies, and they are worthy of emulation because they've been through the mill. Persevere. And in all these things, Philippians 4:6-7 says that be anxious for nothing, but in all of these things, with prayer and thanksgiving, let your supplications be known unto God, and the peace of God that passes all understanding will guard your hearts and mind through Christ Jesus. All that you're going through, it won't change because you're crying. No, it is there to build, to nail you up like gold, going through the fire to come out refined and bright and sparkly. What you can do in that situation is to thank God. God, this thing I'm going through is going to end in praise. This thing I'm going through is going to end in glory. And even as I'm going through this, I pray, oh God, that give me the endurance, give me the perseverance, give me the strength to go through this. And you are now going to put your supplications unto God. This is what I need in this situation. God, help me, my situation. Help me in this situation. Help me in this situation. And before you know it, the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart, such that the situation will not affect you so much to the point where your mind is in such turmoil that any option that promises reprieve, you follow it back, which in that situation may not even end you well. The peace of God will now fill that space, knowing that there's hope. It will end well. It will end well. That process that you're going through, God is aware of that process, and His thoughts for you in that process is to give you hope and unexpected end. Do not frolic, don't soil yourself yet with filthy options and lose the gold that could come out of that situation, lose the glory that could come out of that situation. A lot of other people who went through situations worse, the examples I gave prior. Hannah is an example. Hannah was teased by Peninnah. She was teased and teased and teased. But in the end, her child became one of the greatest prophets that Israel had ever known. Jabez's situation was so bad. But he stood and supplicated unto God, gave thanks unto God, and waited and waited. And in the end, he became one of the greatest in his land. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Prøcēsş Musings. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Press the bell icon close to it for all video notifications so that whenever I post a video, you receive it. Comment under this session, of course, and then share this to anybody who would be blessed by it. Thank you so much. God bless you.